Welcome back to Trill Truth Network. This is Trill Truth giving you the Trill Truth. And on this particular video, I'm going to touch on a hot topic concerning uh, one of the popular videos in sports circulating online with TMZ Sports. Shout out to TMZ Sports, big fan. Video which they had Dana White being interviewed by one of their guys, and basically Dana White touches on a variety of different topics as it pertains to the UFC and MMA. But the most predominant topic that he talked about was Conor McGregor. Of course, a lot of people who got a chance to check out the Cowboy Cerrone fight understand that Conor McGregor came back stronger than ever, put on a great performance, and they did a hell of a show. I actually personally like Cowboy Cerrone, so I really was disappointed to see him go out like that. I have a friend of mine who actually knows his father personally, has met him personally, so uh, you know, I was disappointed for that perspective. I would have hoped that Cowboy Cerrone would have gave a better performance. However, it turned out the way it turned out. I've always liked and respected Conor McGregor for being a tremendous fighter in MMA, but also being a great entertainer. And this is the business and sports entertainment. And Conor McGregor is great sports entertainment. So, given what he says in this interview, the guy is actually asking him questions as it pertains to Khabib, and basically Khabib's uh, reluctance or lack thereof excitement for himself to fight Conor McGregor once again after he pummeled him and embarrassed and humiliated him, basically tortured and played with him for the duration of their previous fight before Conor McGregor tapped out. Now, with that said, Dana White basically says that he expects or wants that fight to take place should Khabib beat Ferguson, which I believe is a spectacular fight, a fight that I'm really looking forward to. Khabib versus Ferguson. I think it's going to be a great fight, great night for the UFC, great MMA battle. And me personally, as much as I love Ferguson, I love both of these guys. I anticipate Khabib being able to come out on top because he has just those dominant wrestling skills where I don't care who you are. That man has been wrestling, literally wrestling wild animals, bears. I've got video on YouTube. You can look it up. This man's been wrestling bears since he was 9, under 10 years old with his father. So, and let alone wrestling bears, this man is just probably the greatest wrestler of all time. One of the greatest MMA fighters overall all time. Fought Conor McGregor, who basically was seen as the guy who would be king of the stand up in the fight. Put him on his ass, knocked him down, basically beat him on his feet, then dominated him on the ground the whole entire fight till the guy quit. So with that said, I totally understand and respect Khabib and his approach to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, basically because of his popularity and box office appeal, basically can control and dominate any negotiation as the A side, and that's exactly what he would do, despite the fact that he got beaten up and submitted in the fight. So being Khabib, knowing that he's playing the art of war tactic that I think is best, which is making Conor McGregor making Conor McGregor himself have to adjust to his capitulations, so that when it comes down to negotiations for the actual fight, they understand who's the champion, who's the real dog here. And then after they handle business, of course, he can remind him of what's going to happen to him, similar to what happened in the first fight. Because I do not see any type of way, shape, or form that Conor McGregor will ever be able to beat Khabib, period. Even if he lands his best punch, he can't at best do anything but make him, I would say, stumble. I mean, maybe. I mean, Khabib has one hell of a chin. His defense is underrated. His stand-up game is underrated. Ferguson, I give a great shot. In fact, I believe that Ferguson has a better shot to win that fight than Conor McGregor would. So definitely stay tuned for that. He also touches on his relationship with Tito Ortiz, of course, a rocky one, and also other things as it pertains to the sport of MMA and the direction that they're looking to go with the UFC. With that said, the UFC, he's also looking to protect, because they were asking him about Khabib possibly fighting Floyd Mayweather, which, you know, Khabib's never been a professional boxer, probably never even fought as an amateur boxer, just has a somewhat below average to decent self-defense stand-up game. Even though he dropped Conor McGregor, even though he usually dominates all of his opponents, even he knows that this is different. This fight is different. So, me personally, I'm looking forward to Khabib versus Ferguson. I give that fight a 50-50 shot. Maybe 55-45, because I believe Khabib's wrestling skills are so dominant and Ferguson is so slender that if Khabib gets a hold of him, it's going to be very difficult for Ferguson to even somewhat break free. So I'm expecting a great, exciting, a good, entertaining fight. I expect Khabib to win. If Conor McGregor was to take on another fight, I believe it would be an extremely tough, soft touch to prepare him for the Khabib fight, which will be mega, probably the biggest fight in MMA history, UFC history, that rematch with Khabib versus Conor, and I believe Conor just gets mollywopped. I think that Conor's best angle, now that he's back fighting right now immediately, go ahead and cash out on the rematch versus Floyd. Go ahead and do that. I would do that if I was him. Maximum money for little to no effort. Pretty much, even if he does lose to Floyd, he's going to take little long-term issue pain, because we're not talking about anybody beating up on Floyd Mayweather just non-stop without getting something in return inside that ring or that square circle, of course. But everything remains to be seen. I'm excited about the possibilities. I'm excited about the things that Dana White was talking about. This is one of the reasons why I believe that it would be great if boxing was to take more of a UFC type of approach to the sport, allowing all of the best fighters to fight each other, and allowing no longer for basically just nonchalant, weak overall cards. Just imagine if you have a league of boxing that's similar to the UFC. There is no debate on whether or when someone like Terrence Crawford fights Errol Spence Jr. You know it's going to happen, and you know it's going to be enforced sooner rather than later, because of the possible build-up, as well as the fact that, you know, us and the sports entertainment field understand that people want to see who's the best, and that's the only way you can prove it. But the best way to prove that you care is by spending your money on the product, both going to events and or supporting them on television by watching them, or order the pay-per-view if you can. And with that said, I'd like to thank you for being a part of Trill Truth Network. See you soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned.